Angus, I know you're in the field right now, and it's very odd for me to send this to you suddenly. I know you're busy, but I need your help. The Royal Navy has had nothing but sporadic engagements. And I mean that as in, imagine the stories that you told me about your various encounters in your service, with the Special Forces service, and fighting these sporadic events that don't correlate very often. Just a raid here, a small firefight there. That's basically what we've been doing. We cannot go for the decisive battles we need to rid the Soviet menace from the North Sea. I know you're on the march. I know your men are resting from their perilous journey into the Polish hinterland, but I do want to hear your thoughts. We've been stalled, time after time after time. Whether it was bad weather or miscommunication, we have missed ample opportunities to take down the Soviet fleet being run by the, should I call them puppet government? Or occupied Canada? It's a large fleet, and I regret I'm not out there to battle it myself, but we haven't been lucky enough to catch it. Fleeting glimpses of the steel behemoths rising from the waves, and yet nothing. No great battles, no shots or fires, nothing. It's been silent. And it's frustrating the Navy. It's frustrating me even more. If we're to win this war, we need to get the war on the sea handled immediately. If we don't get command of the sea, the Soviets will be able to move around their puppet forces as much as they wish. On land, we have a serious disadvantage. In numbers, material, but on the sea, well, there's a reason Britannia rules the waves, but I don't know, cousin. It's difficult to say where we should go from here. I have two theories, and I want your opinion on them. First, we continue with the sporadic engagement strategy, staying away from the larger battles and focusing only on the naval invasions, driving those fleets off when needed, and taking only the parts of the Navy that are absolutely necessary out for large-scale battles, or avoid them entirely. I don't want to get stuck in a meat grinder against the Soviet Union, especially on the high seas. We have the advantage now, yes, but what happens if we lose the advantage in local areas? Your mountaineers are doing very well in Chile, but Argentina will prove to be a harder nut to crack. The people there, under these Soviet puppet governments, are growing restless, but we don't have enough ships to send there. We're still trying to gain back control of Canada, where the Soviets have concentrated a large army force. I wish I could tell you it was all good news. But, thankfully, the United States is stopping the Soviets and their allied civilians from crossing over the border, helping us pocket the Soviet armies wherever we catch them. And so far, everything seems to be going well. How long this period lasts is unknown. Iceland and Greenland would be my next idea for going forward, but then again, I still grow concerned about the Soviet fleets. See, the puppets might have fleets, have ships they've purchased, but we all know the truth that it's just more Soviet warships, bearing another country's flag. I grow concerned that if we move a large fleet to take Iceland or Greenland, that will be left out in open deep water, and without much support from air assets for scouting or reconnaissance, we could be left in a bit of issue, because, frankly, I don't want to use flying boats for reconnaissance. Neither does anyone in the Admiralty. And the Soviets have some land-based bombers, we believe, that are based in Iceland. The problem is we can't confirm it. But if they do have them, it represents a risk for the fleet. Even assuming they can't launch those planes, it still represents a threat. We don't need more problems. We already have too many. Angus, I wish I had the answers. I really do. That's why I'm writing to you. I know you're not a Navy man, and I know you will complain about receiving this, but just bear with me. If we go all in, decisive battle, is it going to be worth it? How many times we'll have to fight the same warships? Or is it better to let the Soviets make their move? Let them run from our overwhelming force and worry about the rest later. Because honestly, playing conservatively might be our only hope at getting a victory larger than just regaining control of Canada. I have a greater goal in mind. See, I know you're going to frown upon me for this, but I have been in talks with the exiled Tsar, and he has a plan. A bold plan, considering Germany now controls much of central Russia, but it's a bold plan nonetheless. He thinks, and I believe correctly, that if we could force the Soviets on the back foot, gain a stronghold somewhere in Russia where he has allies, we could start a comeback, drive the Soviets back into Siberia and into the Pacific, where they have no hope of escape. It's bold, it's risky, and I probably shouldn't even suggest the idea aloud, but it would remove a threat from the world stage. But then again, we could be overplaying our hand. Angus, you're always better at being an analyst than I was. You could walk into a valley and understand where the risks were before I even stopped to take a breath to look at our surroundings. And that's why I want your help. Send back a reply when you can. Your cousin, William.